Do you ever leave a hangout with your friends feeling like you just got hugged by a porcupine wearing a Grinch costume? Like somehow, after an hour of talking, your sense of self worth is now wearing one sock and weeping in the corner? Well, congratulations. There is a chance that your friend group is full of emotional cacti. Yes, emotional cacti. They look all chill and Instagrammable from afar. But try to get too close, and suddenly your feelings are pierced by 42 sharp little comments that sounded funny until you cry in the car. Welcome to the gang. Now, before you dramatically group text, we need to talk with the emotional intensity of a breakup PowerPoint. Let us dig in. What exactly is an emotional cactus? Simply put, it is someone who handles emotions with the grace of a squirrel on espresso. They are prickly. They might joke at your expense, avoid deep conversations like they owe them money, or go full ghost anytime you open up. These are not necessarily bad people. In fact, some of them have killer playlists and would absolutely help you bury a body, no questions asked. But when it comes to emotional support, your cactus buddies might be giving you hugs through a thicket of thorns. Now, psychologists probably would not call your pal Kevin a cactus. They would use terms like emotionally avoidant, low on emotional intelligence, or someone blessed with the empathy of a table lamp. Studies in emotional intelligence, particularly those by Daniel Goleman, tell us that people vary pretty wildly in their ability to recognize, use, understand, and manage emotions, both their own and those of others. That is right. Some people can barely do this for themselves, and now the world keeps letting them handle other humans like we are all fine china. Emotional cacti tend to fall under the emotionally avoidant species. These people often believe that vulnerability is some kind of psychological quicksand. Show a single emotion, and boom. Next thing you know, they are texting you disclaimers like, sorry, I'm just bad at feelings, and then vanishing into the mist like emotional Batman. They might deflect with humor, downplay serious stuff, or straight up change the subject, like mid tears. You mention your breakup, and they suddenly want to discuss breakfast burritos. But the thing is, emotional avoidance is not always a choice. It is often learned. According to attachment theory, which is basically the Hogwarts sorting hat of human behavior, your emotional style is heavily influenced by your early relationships. If someone grew up in an environment where emotions were ignored, punished, or made about someone else, yeah, odds are they learned to put their feelings in a bottle, bury that bottle, then pretend they never had feelings in the first place. Now, if you are thinking, okay, sure, but my friends are funny and weird and sort of wonderful, so why does this matter? Good question. Short answer: emotional avoidance in a group acts like personal growth kryptonite. Long answer: if you are surrounded by prickly, emotionally unavailable people, you might find yourself slowly replacing authentic conversations with weird inside jokes about tacos and never really talking about anything real. And while memes and sarcasm are beautiful parts of friendship, they are kind of like frosting, delicious but not a stable meal. Maybe your friend Sarah makes every serious chat into a joke. Your buddy Marcus responds to your emotional breakdown with finger guns and a blanket. Or your group's idea of a heart to heart is watching a sad movie and not speaking afterward. You begin to internalize the idea that feelings are either too awkward to discuss, are not valid, or should be beaten into submission using pizza and denial. So, what do you do if your inner circle is basically a garden of emotionally avoidant succulents? First, you do not need to break up with your entire friend crew like it is a Netflix rom-com. Instead, you test the soil. Try planting a little vulnerability and see what grows. That could be as simple as saying, hey, I had a rough day. Can I talk about it? Or asking, I know we joke around a lot, but is there space to be serious when it matters here? Gently. We are not throwing therapy chairs at people. Research backs up this slow-mo approach. In fact, self-disclosure, that is the academic term for sharing something about yourself, has been shown to build stronger friendships when done gradually and reciprocally. And not all emotional connections have to be deep crying into each other's hoodies kind. You can start light. Talk about weird fears, embarrassing moments, or why you sobbed during that one dog food commercial. Emotional intimacy is built like IKEA furniture, slow, with weird tools, but ultimately worth it when you do not skip steps. But what if your cactus gang does not bite? Maybe you try letting your guard down and they respond with confusion, silence, or the conversational equivalent of yikes anyway. Then it might be worth recalibrating what these friendships are and are not. Not everyone has to be your ride or die emotional anchor. Some people are just good for trivia nights or sending you memes of raccoons holding tiny hamburgers. That is okay. However, if your entire social support system is made of people who treat emotional depth like lava, it might be time to diversify your friend portfolio. Think of it like your mental health investment plan. You need high return emotional stocks. These are friends who show empathy, ask how you are doing, and wait for the answer, or who do not flinch when you express something real, even if they are not perfect at handling it. And spoiler alert, nobody is perfect at handling it. Most people are still figuring out their own emotional IKEA instruction manual. So here come some XQ certified strategies for surviving and thriving among emotional cacti. First, model the behavior you want. Be the slightly less spiky cactus. Open up in small ways, respond warmly to their emotions, and see who rises to the occasion. Sometimes people just need a little green light to stop guarding their squishy parts. Second, stop confusing sarcasm with connection. Jokes are fun. So are poop jokes and quoting SpongeBob. But none of that means your friendship automatically runs deep. Depth happens when vulnerability does. Weirdly enough, conversations about real stuff build trust better than 10 years of texting, lol, I am dead. Third, watch for empathy in action, not just words. If your friend listens without immediately solving you, dismissing you, or turning the conversation into a TED Talk about their own trauma, mark them emotionally advanced. Reward that behavior with the excitement usually reserved for free pizza. Fourth, reconsider what role each friend plays. Expecting emotional steak from someone who only knows how to serve memes is going to leave you hungry. Let acquaintances be acquaintances, and seek out emotionally intelligent friends the way you would hunt for the last bag of sour gummy worms, strategically, and possibly while whispering, "You are the chosen one," when you find them. Lastly, remember that some of the sharpest cacti are not just avoiding your emotions, they are avoiding their own. Offer grace, not just judgment, but do protect yourself too. If someone consistently ignores your needs or makes you feel bad for having them, then you are not surrounded by cacti, you are surrounded by booby traps. And that is a wildly different decor. So could your friend group be full of emotional cacti? Maybe. But recognizing it is not a reason to ditch everything and go full hermit. It is actually an invitation to cultivate better communication, healthier dynamics, and friendships that are not terrified of a few honest tears or mood swings. You deserve people who can meet you at soul level, or at least attempt to get there without running away like it is an emotional fire drill. If your vibe check on your friend group came back with a few too many spikes, do not panic. Prickliness is not permanent. Conversations create change, and change starts with brave, tiny steps. Plus a massive arsenal of XQ wisdom, of course. So if you just realized your inner circle is shaped like a desert and you are suddenly craving some rain, let us talk in the comments. Share your experience, send this to your cactus friend, lovingly. And if you want more fast, funny, and genius-level breakdowns of life's weirdest questions, then hit that subscribe button for more from XQ. Quick, funny explanations, where we break down the confusing stuff so hard it begs for mercy, and laughs. Stay emotionally hydrated, folks. Be the soft in a world of cactus.